I was 7 years old the first time I asked when my parents were coming back. The nurse didn't answer right away. She just kept folding towels at the metal cart by the window, her hands moving slower than usual. And I remember thinking that was strange, because Nurse Rita never moved slow. She was always rushing between rooms, always had 3 things to do at once. But that day, she stopped. She looked at me with these tired eyes, the kind that have seen too many kids ask the same question. And she said something I'll never forget. "Sweetheart, they're not coming." I didn't understand, but they said they'd come back. They said it was just for a little while. She sat down on the edge of my bed. The springs creaked. I remember that sound because the room went so quiet after. "Sometimes," she said softly, "parents say things they want to be true. But wanting something doesn't make it real." I was 7. I didn't know what that meant, so I asked the question that had been burning in my chest for weeks. "Why hasn't anyone come to pick me up?" And that's when she whispered it. "They never will. Let me take you back to the beginning. My name is Eli. I'm 14 now, but my story really starts when I was 6.5. That's when I came to St. Catherine's Home for Children. It's not the kind of place you see in movies. No grand staircases or kind old ladies baking cookies. It's a 3-story building that smells like cleaning solution and overcooked vegetables. The paint is peeling in the hallways. The radiators clang at night. And there are always more kids than beds. The day I arrived, I thought I was going on an adventure. My mom told me we were going somewhere special. She packed my backpack with my favorite stuffed dog, the one with the missing eye, and a change of clothes. She held my hand the whole car ride. Didn't say much, just kept squeezing my fingers every few minutes, like she was making sure I was still there. When we pulled up to St. Catherine's, I thought it was a school. "Am I starting school early?" I asked. She didn't answer, just walked me inside, talked to a woman at the desk, and then knelt down in front of me. Her eyes were red. I thought maybe she was sick. "You're going to stay here for a little while," she said, "just until Mommy figures some things out." "How long?" "Not long, I promise." She hugged me so tight I could barely breathe. And then she left. I stood at the window and watched her car pull away. I wasn't scared yet. I thought she was coming back that night. Maybe the next morning. But that night came and went. Then another. Then a week. Then a month. The first few weeks were the hardest. Not because of the place itself, but because I kept expecting her to walk through the door. Every time I heard footsteps in the hallway, I'd run to look. Every time a car pulled up outside, I'd press my face against the glass. The other kids noticed. There was this girl, Maya, who'd been there for 2 years. She was 9 and already had this look like she'd figured out how the world worked. One day, she sat next to me at lunch and said, "You waiting for your mom?" I nodded. "Yeah," she said, chewing her sandwich. "I did that too, for a while." "When did she come back?" Maya looked at me like I'd just asked the dumbest question in the world. "She didn't." I didn't talk to Maya much after that. I didn't want to believe her. I couldn't. Because if my mom wasn't coming back, then where was I supposed to go? Who was I supposed to be? I kept waiting. Every morning, I'd wake up thinking maybe today would be the day. Maybe she just needed a little more time. Maybe she was working extra shifts to save money for us. Maybe she got lost and couldn't find her way back. I made up so many stories in my head. And then, 6 months after I arrived, Nurse Rita told me the truth. I didn't cry when she said it. I just sat there on my bed, staring at the wall. The words didn't make sense at first. They felt like something from another kid's life, not mine. "What do you mean they're not coming?" I finally asked. Rita sighed. She looked older in that moment, more human. "Your mother, she's not in a place where she can take care of you right now. And your father, we don't know where he is. Maybe he doesn't even know you're here." "But she promised." "I know. She said it was just for a little while." "I know, honey. I know." I wanted to scream. I wanted to throw something. But instead, I just pulled my knees up to my chest and stared at the floor. Rita stayed for a few more minutes. She didn't try to make me feel better with lies. She didn't tell me everything would be okay. She just sat there, and then she got up and left. And that was it. That was the moment I stopped being a kid who was waiting and became a kid who was stuck. The thing about growing up in a place like St. Catherine's is that you learn to notice things other kids don't. You learn who's new by the way they cry at night. You learn who's been there too long by the way they don't cry at all. You learn which staff members actually care and which ones are just counting down the hours until their shift ends. You also learn that hope is dangerous. There was a boy named Marcus who came when I was 8. He was my age, maybe a little older. He had this backpack covered in superhero stickers, and he told everyone his dad was a soldier overseas. Said his dad was coming to get him as soon as his tour was done. Marcus talked about his dad every single day. He drew pictures of them together. He wrote letters that never got mailed. He had this whole future planned out. What they'd do when they were reunited, where they'd live, what kind of dog they'd get. 2 years passed. No one came. By the time Marcus turned 10, he stopped talking about his dad. He stopped drawing. He ripped up all the letters. And one morning, he just didn't come out of his room. They said he wasn't eating, wasn't speaking, just staring at the wall. They moved him to a different facility after that, somewhere with doctors who could help. I never saw him again. That's when I realized something. Hope didn't save Marcus. It destroyed him. Because when you hope for something that never comes, you're not just losing a dream, you're losing a piece of yourself. So I stopped hoping. I stopped looking out the window. I stopped imagining the sound of my mom's voice. I stopped making up stories about why she left. I decided that if I was going to survive this place, I had to stop waiting for someone to save me. But here's the thing about giving up hope. It doesn't actually make the pain go away. It just makes you numb. And numb is a lonely way to live. I spent the next few years just going through the motions. Wake up, go to school, come back, do homework, eat dinner, go to bed, repeat. I didn't make friends. I didn't cause trouble. I was invisible. And I liked it that way until I met Daniel. Daniel was different. He came to St. Catherine's when I was 11. He was 12, tall for his age, with messy brown hair and this crooked smile that made him look like he was always about to tell a joke. He didn't act like the other kids. He wasn't sad. He wasn't angry. He was just there. Comfortable in his own skin in a way that didn't make sense. But Daniel didn't seem like he was pretending. He actually meant it. Over the next few months, he became my first real friend. We'd sit together at meals. We'd do homework in the common room. He'd tell me about the comic books he was reading, and I'd listen, even though I didn't care about superheroes. And slowly, without me even noticing, I started to feel less numb. One night, when I was 12, I had a nightmare. I was standing in a parking lot, and my mom was driving away. I was screaming for her to stop, but she didn't hear me. Or maybe she did, and just kept going. I woke up sweating, my heart racing. I couldn't fall back asleep, so I went to the bathroom and splashed water on my face. When I came back, Daniel was sitting on the edge of his bed. He slept in the bunk across from mine, looking at me. "You okay?" he asked quietly. I nodded, but I wasn't. "Bad dream?" "Yeah, he didn't push." Just sat there for a minute. Then he said something I'll never forget. "You know what I think? I think parents are just people. And people mess up. They make bad choices. They run away from hard things. It doesn't mean we deserved it, but it also doesn't mean we have to spend our whole lives waiting for them to fix it." I stared at him. "How do you just let go?" He smiled, that crooked smile. I didn't say, "I let go." I just stopped letting it be the only thing that matters. When I turned 13, something changed. I don't know if it was Daniel's influence or just time finally doing its thing, but I started to see St. Catherine's differently. It wasn't a prison. It wasn't a waiting room. It was just where I lived. And the people there, the other kids, the nurses, even the grumpy cook who burned the toast every morning, they were my people. We didn't have parents, but we had each other. Maya, the girl who'd told me my mom wasn't coming back, became like a sister. She taught me how to braid hair and how to sneak extra cookies from the kitchen. Daniel and I started a tradition where every Friday we'd make up stories about our past lives. Ridiculous things like being pirates or astronauts or secret agents. It was stupid, but it made us laugh. And for the first time since I'd arrived, I felt like maybe I could be okay. Not happy, not fixed, just okay. "What do you want, Eli?" I looked at her. "What do you mean?" "I mean, if you could have anything in the world right now, what would it be?" I thought about it, really thought about it, and I realized I didn't know. I'd spent so many years just surviving, just getting through each day, that I'd forgotten how to want things. "I don't know," I said honestly. She nodded, like that was a perfectly good answer. "That's okay. Maybe we can figure it out together. I've been living with Sarah and Tom for 8 months now. It's weird. Good weird, but still weird. They have this house with a backyard and a dog named Copper. My room has an actual door that closes. There's always food in the fridge. They don't make me call them Mom and Dad. They said I could just use their names. At first, I kept waiting for the catch, for them to change their minds, for something to go wrong, but nothing did. They just showed up. Every day, they drove me to school. They asked about my homework. They watched movies with me on weekends. They didn't try to replace my parents. They didn't pretend my past didn't happen. They just made space for me. And I'm still figuring out what that means. I went back to St. Catherine's last month to visit. Daniel's still there. He's waiting to age out next year. Maya got placed with a family 2 towns over. We text sometimes. I sat in the courtyard with Daniel, at the same picnic table where we used to talk. The leaves were turning again. It felt like coming full circle. "You doing okay?" he asked. "Yeah," I said, and I meant it. "I think I am." He smiled. "Told you." "Told me what?" "That it gets better." Not perfect, but better. I looked around at the building, at the kids playing in the yard, at the peeling paint and the clanging radiators. This place had been my home for 7 years. It had been the hardest, loneliest, most painful time of my life. But it had also been the place where I learned to survive, where I learned that family isn't just blood. It's the people who stay, the people who see you at your worst and don't walk away. So here's what I want you to know. If you're a kid waiting for someone to come back, if you're pressing your face against the window, hoping this will be the day, I need you to hear this. they might not come. And I'm not saying that to hurt you. I'm saying it because someone should have told me sooner. You can't spend your whole life waiting for people who aren't coming back. You can't put your life on hold for a love that isn't showing up. But here's the other thing. That doesn't mean you're alone. There are people who will show up. Maybe not the ones you expected, maybe not the ones you dreamed about, but they're out there. The nurse Ritas who sit with you when the truth breaks your heart. The Daniels who remind you how to live. The Sarahs and Toms who make space for you when you've forgotten how to want things. You are not defined by the people who left. You are defined by how you keep going. I still think about my mom sometimes. I wonder where she is, if she thinks about me, if she regrets leaving. But I don't wait anymore. Because I finally understand what Nurse Rita was trying to tell me that day. Some people aren't coming back, and that's not your fault. It's not your job to fix them or understand them or wait for them to become who you needed them to be. Your job is to live, to find the people who will stay, to build a life that's yours, to stop letting the past steal your future. I'm 14 now. I have a family. I have a home. I have a dog who sleeps at the foot of my bed and friends who text me stupid memes at midnight. I'm not healed. I'm not over it. I don't think you ever really get over something like this. But I'm here, and that's enough. So if you're still waiting, if you're still hoping, I just want you to know this. It's okay to stop. It's okay to let go. It's okay to start living your life, even if the person you're waiting for never comes back. Because you deserve more than a life spent in a waiting room. You deserve to be wanted, to be seen, to be loved. And if the people who were supposed to give you that couldn't do it, then it's time to find the people who can. They're out there, I promise. And when you find them, hold on tight, because that's when your real story begins.